Welcome to the Week in Review, the show that brings you up to date on the week that was. Here are the top stories. Infosys cuts its forecast and reports less than expected profits. Unitech exits from the Uninor joint venture. And the IMF's growth forecast for India slips below 5%. We begin with Infosys, which kicked off earnings season for the IT sector on Friday. The company reported a lower than expected profit for the second quarter, and it also issued a weak guidance for the year. Net profit rose 3.5% quarter-on-quarter to 2,369 crores, and revenues climbed 2.52% to 9,858. The modest increases were below most forecasts, and Infosys added to the disappointment by cutting its guidance. The company now expects only 17.3% revenue growth during the year. That's compared to 19.7% it had forecast earlier. Infosys added 39 clients during the September quarter, which is significantly lower than the 51 it added in the 3 months to June. It also announced it would shift its CFO V. Balakrishnan to other roles. His replacement will be Rajiv Bansal. And there was another big-ticket earnings announcement on Friday. HDFC Bank posted robust profits for the quarter despite the economic slowdown. Profits rose 30% year-on-year to 1,560 crores, and the bank's net interest income climbed 27% to 3,732 crores. Its main profitability measure, the net interest margin, remains stable at 4.2% compared to 4.1% in the same period last year. HDFC Bank saw strong loan growth of about 32%. That was led by loans to individuals as well as small companies. What's more, the problem of bad loans seems well under control. The bank's provisioning fell to 293 crores from 366 in last year's second quarter. Staying with corporate news, the bitter dispute between Unitech and Telenor has finally come to an end. On Thursday, the two companies issued a statement saying they had settled their differences over their joint venture Uninor. The statement says Unitech has agreed to sell its shares for a nominal amount, and with effect on the 10th of October, Unitech nominees have withdrawn from the Uninor board. The statement also makes it clear that all disputes and claims will be withdrawn once the transfers are complete. Indian real estate firm Unitech and Norwegian telecom company Telenor had faced off over funding and control of Uninor. The dispute worsened after the Supreme Court cancelled Uninor's telecom licenses. Telenor is currently looking for a new partner with which it can bid for fresh licenses. Moving on, the government may have announced a slew of reform measures, but credit rating agency Standard & Poor's is not impressed. On Wednesday, it said the country still faced a 1 in 3 chance of a downgrade, but it added it would wait and watch before any sort of downward revision. S&P's credit rating for India is now BBB-. That's just one step above the junk grade. And reforms notwithstanding, the IMF's outlook for India is not encouraging either. Its new World Economic Outlook has slashed the country's growth forecast to below 5%. Its projection is now for a GDP growth of just 4.9% in 2012. It had earlier forecast 6.2% growth. While the IMF's outlook for the world economy as a whole is poor, India has experienced the biggest reduction in growth estimates. What's more, the IMF's projection for the next year has also been slashed, an indication it doesn't expect reforms to make much of a difference. It now pegs growth in 2013 at just 6%. Its previous forecast was 6.6%. The slowing economy is expected to take a heavy toll on India's auto sector. Industry lobby SIAM has drastically cut back its sales outlook for the current fiscal. Overall, it now forecasts just 5 to 7% growth this year. That's compared to its July outlook of 11 to 13%. The auto industry has been suffering thanks to a combination of slowing growth and high interest rates. For September, it reported a 9.4% decline in sales to 1.4 million vehicles. And despite the gloom about the economy, there are some signs of a revival. New figures show industrial output has grown in August. The index of industrial production for the month grew 2.7%. In July, it was flat at 0.1%. But the latest figures are only a slight recovery after months of stagnation. Taken as a whole, the April to August period saw IIP growth of just 0.4%. And here are some stories in brief. Retail inflation has fallen below the double-digit mark in September. The consumer price index rose 9.73% in September. In August, it was just above 10%. Kingfisher Airlines won't be flying until at least the 20th of October. That's also the last date for Kingfisher to reply to a show cause notice from DGCA, which wants to know why it shouldn't scrap the carrier's license. Kingfisher CEO Sanjay Agarwal has asked striking employees to return to work, but hasn't made any commitments about paying them their salaries. And that's all we have for you. Thanks for watching.